What real shadows lurk beneath the Musketeer's cloak of mystery? Who really hides behind the Musketeer's veil of intrigue? Inside Out, the Three Musketeers. In the game of loyalty, who's really playing? And now, as the Musketeer myths unravel, how does the man in red emerge from the abyss as a paragon of empathy, whose blood really stains the pages of Dumas' Musketeer saga? In the shadowy world of Alexandre Dumas' Musketeer tales, the man in red emerges as a spectral embodiment of raw emotion. The Cardinal in The Three Musketeers, 1844, is a sinister apparition conjured by the imaginations of Athos, Aramis, Porthos and D'Artagnan, a figure shrouded in secrecy, cruelty, deceit and relentless hatred, a far cry from reality. Yet 20 years after, 1845, these same musketeers awaken to their misjudgment, ultimately lauding Richelieu. Fast forward to The Red Sphinx, 1866, where Dumas masterfully reshapes the Cardinal's image, unveiling a character brimming with heartfelt sensitivity and empathy, turning the once feared spectre into a complex, multifaceted enigma. In the shadowy corridors of 17th century England, where whispers of power and secrets intertwined, Lucy Percy emerged as a captivating enigma. Daughter of the wizard Earl Henry Percy, her legacy was steeped in the arcane. Her father's reputation danced between alchemy and astrology, casting a mysterious shadow over the aristocracy. What dark secrets did Lucy Percy, the real-life Milady, conceal behind her enchanting facade, and how did her scorn transform into a weapon of espionage and betrayal? Explore the labyrinth, and Lucy's alliance with Richelieu uncovers forbidden truths and dangerous liaisons. Lucy, with her father's enigmatic flair, became a mesmerizing presence at King Charles I's court. Her beauty masked a mind adept at seduction and manipulation. As a mistress to power players, she wove a web of influence and intrigue. But when scorned by the Duke of Buckingham, did Lucy's scorn become her weapon? Aligning with Cardinal Richelieu, she became an unlikely agent of espionage. Her life, a tapestry of passion and betrayal, defied mere historical footnotes. Lucy Percy, akin to the fictional Milady, remains an enigma, a woman whose machinations dared others to uncover the secrets she so artfully concealed. What truths lie beneath her captivating facade? Cardinal Richelieu, savior of France or shadowy puppet master? As we explore further into Richelieu's rise to power, the skeletons in his gilded closets begin to rattle. Richelieu's spy network protected France, breeding paranoia for his own ends. Was Cardinal Richelieu a visionary statesman or a Machiavellian monster? This enigmatic figure, draped in scarlet robes, pulled the strings of 17th century France with a mix of brilliance and brutality that would make even modern politicians blush. Born Armand Jean Duplessis in 1585, Richelieu clawed his way to power through a maze of plots and alliances. But was his meteoric rise from modest bishop to the king's right hand purely talent, or did he have skeletons buried in gilded closets? As Louis XIII's chief minister, Richelieu crushed internal dissent with an iron fist. The siege of La Rochelle saw him starve out his own countrymen, Huguenot rebels, in a year-long blockade. Was this cruel efficiency necessary to unify France, or the act of a power-hungry zealot? Richelieu's foreign policy was a masterclass in manipulation. He supported Protestant forces abroad while suppressing them at home. Did this cunning duplicity serve France's interests, or was it merely a game of personal ambition? The Cardinal's cultural legacy is undeniable. He founded the French Academy and patronized the arts. But was this genuine passion, or just another tool to control the narrative and cement his power? Richelieu survived countless assassination attempts and conspiracies, even from the Queen herself. Did his notorious network of spies protect the realm or create a climate of paranoia that served his own ends? As he lay dying in 1642, Richelieu reportedly said, "I have no enemies but those of the state." Was this the truth or his final greatest deception? So, inside out, the Three Musketeers, the hidden faces behind the masks of loyalty. In the game of shadows, who wins? The Cardinal uses gold, threats and cruelty, promising the absolution of sins. It's a challenging role to be His Eminence, especially when betrayal lurks in the King's bedroom. Consider whether the Cardinal is justified. The Queen spends the entire year mingling with enemies day and night, showing little regard for the fate of France. She often pouts and provokes the King to anger, regularly acting against the interests of France. In line with the ongoing issues, fate carries everyone along their paths. The Queen is involved with Buckingham, while D'Artagnan is entangled with Madame Bonacieux. Service in the Musketeers is uncertain and salaries are being cut. Madame Coquenard lends money to Porthos and Madame Chevreuse to Aramis. The trio often finds themselves waking up in unfamiliar beds, only to later gather with friends and sing praises to Burgundy wine. Milady. Aligning with Cardinal Richelieu, she became an unlikely agent of espionage. From a young age, she carried the weight of a criminal icon, her shoulder aching with the burden. But unlike the fictional Milady from Dumas' tales, her real-life counterpart was quite different. Wikipedia, the modern arbiter of truth, reveals that her father was none other than the 9th Earl of Northumberland. She was celebrated by the finest courtly circles for her beauty and style. Yet, despite her noble status as the Countess of Carlisle, she fell deeply in love with Buckingham. Unfortunately, he did not reciprocate her feelings and left her, leaving her feeling scorned. In a world where exceptional women are rare, she stood out. Determined to retaliate against her former lover, she sought the help of the Cardinal. She was not one to play coy, believing that infidelity was a matter of capability, not morality, and certainly not for men to judge. Contemporary opinions. Life goes on, and as time passes, we all strive for something. The notorious allure of Milady's legacy continued to inspire new figures, both in her time and 300 years later. Fearless in a world where others feared her, she found her calling as an agent, earning the code name Milady 007. The secret meeting and its consequences. The Queen and Buckingham's meeting in Paris. A conspiracy of convenience or a collision of ambitions? Not every siege ends in failure. The Queen, as if intoxicated, hastily gave the Duke what rightfully belonged to the King. The reckless could have gotten away with it, for who are we to judge them? But gifting him the diamond pendants was a mistake she shouldn't have made. The Queen, not just a pawn, felt flustered, acting like a naive girl. In her rush, she presented Buckingham with the King's gift. Her blunder was significant, and the Cardinal had to explain that such royal gifts were not to be trifled with. Yet she longed for excitement. How dull it was to live without love. She nodded in agreement outwardly, while internally pondering.
We queens are incorrigible, and with our feminine souls we can't understand how the tender and beloved Duke turned into an enemy's queen piece.
The Cardinal was confident in his victory. He didn't search for the pendants on the floor. Instead, he ordered his agent, codenamed Milady, to cut them off at the ball. Now there were enough arguments to convince the King of betrayal and to capture the network of agents along with the Queen before the war. The price of diamond pendants is significant. Imagine cutting a couple of diamond pendants from a king's gift. It's no wonder that jewelry is often chosen for novels or plays. It serves a purpose. When it comes to proving infidelity, nothing works better than such a compromise. The value of diamonds remains constant, a fact even kings are aware of. These small guarantees, these pendants, deserve much praise. There are no friends more loyal than diamonds, except perhaps a mask and a dagger. Now, to avoid making a decision alone, I ask you, my friends, to vote. Is it proper or improper for queens to lose their heads over such matters? Constance Bonacieux's story unfolds in Paris, where she needs a Bonacieux to settle down. He should have his own business and be somewhat simple-minded, allowing her to manipulate him as she pleases. Despite his innocence, he becomes entangled in life's complexities. In the palace, even amidst the mundane tasks, a noble prince offers her his affection. This leads to a passionate affair filled with love and luxury. However, this romance is fraught with danger, especially if one finds themselves aligned with the enemy. Unexpectedly, Constance finds herself unable to assist further, having inadvertently aided a formidable adversary. She had introduced Buckingham to the Queen at a secret location, an act that could have serious legal implications in the real world. The Secret Cocktail of Dumas. In the intricate world of Dumas, Charlotte Backson, also known as Lady Clarick, was once called Anna de Bale. She is asked to reveal the secrets behind a cocktail of elaborate names. In the corridors of power, where a keen sense of smell can be more crucial than armor, the scents of Countess Winter and Baroness Sheffield linger. A perfumer, who is also a pharmacist, adds almond kernel juice to the mix, enhancing the recipe with the bitter taste of Countess de la Fère. Dumas, with his mastery of courtly language, mixes these elements into a single concoction, naming it Milady. This cocktail represents the many facets of a character, as D'Artagnan discovered in an intimate setting. Thus, one should not be surprised, for an agent often wears many disguises. D'Artagnan found himself entangled with Milady twice. The first encounter was under the guise of the pseudo-Count de Ward, and the second as his true self, the courageous D'Artagnan. However, fortune did not favor him the second time. When a hidden secret was uncovered, Milady's wrath knew no bounds, and she fiercely defended her past misdeeds. Deceitful seduction, akin to a no-holds-barred fight, is frowned upon in polite society. That night, D'Artagnan risked everything, including the life of his beloved Constance. The executioner from Lille, always masked like an actor, dedicated his life to the grim stage of the scaffold. He began as a volunteer, finding the work engaging and not too taxing. Over time, he graduated from the School of Covert Operations and mastered the intricacies of his trade, drawing knowledge from ancient texts. He recalled Milady, who had quickly ensnared his brother's affections, leading to his downfall, quite literally losing his head. D'Artagnan, once resolute, found himself pleading with his friends to forgive Milady. However, the special tribunal of Musketeers sentenced her to face the sword. The executioner's hand bore the feverish blood of the Fury, and he cast his fee into the river, knowing that a love for money can be perilous. Inside Out, The Three Musketeers. In an intriguing experiment by Alexander Bogdanov, the classic novel, The Three Musketeers, is reimagined by emphasizing different aspects of the story. This reinterpretation highlights how characters, often seen as criminal elements, can work for the greater good of France. The narrative explored the power of women's intellect and charm, focusing on Milady, who managed to eliminate a dangerous enemy just in time. Meanwhile, D'Artagnan found himself trying to thwart her efforts, raising questions about the limits of friendship and loyalty, especially when one's friends are French soldiers and the enemy is England, a hostile nation. As war was declared and a blockade began, the Musketeers found themselves in a peculiar situation. They assisted the enemy, not for money, but for horses, a decision that would have been harshly judged by tribunals. In the end, the story measured the value of services rendered. D'Artagnan received a ring with a diamond from the Agentes Ino, symbolizing the complex interplay of loyalty, duty, and personal gain. Porthos dreamed of the end of his physical endeavors like a fly dreams of halva. He courted Mrs. Coquenard, but later married a widow. While Porthos was still young and had acquired a chest of money, he made Mrs. Coquenard, the prosecutor, the Baroness du Vallon. Athos and Mrs. Chevreuse. Progress was made in their relationship, captured in a portrait. Athos and the Duchess de Chevreuse, with their son, Vicomte de Bragelonne, in the center. The king said, "Regarding my wife's behavior, I'm quite pleased, as she betrayed France, not me, as the servants proved." The cardinal. He acted according to etiquette, founded the Academy of Crafts, and donated his library to the people of France. He always paid his agents in cash, never forgetting business. It's a pity cardinals can't marry because the Pope forbids it. Dumas. I saw this sequence of events through the prism of betrayals, love, and fights. I didn't torture or kill anyone. I painted history with words. Inside Out, the Three Musketeers. In the game of loyalty, who's really playing?